Hi language learners, welcome in today's class. Today we are going to talk about reading newspaper, and all of us know that reading newspaper is a good habit. But again the nagging question is, how many of us try to continue with this wonderful habit of learning? Reading a newspaper from the perspective of or as a source of enhancing your communication skills is a very vital resource, and moreover it is not only a resource of learning a language but just updating ourselves with the latest happenings of the world which are taking place around. So one must stick to newspaper. Reading newspaper should not be the burden of the people who are preparing for civil services. This habit must be cultivated in our children, so that instead of wasting so much of time playing video games or watching n number of TV serials, they develop some good habit. So introducing the newspaper to a child is a very lucrative idea that must be implemented by the parents and the teachers. So this is a big gap in our I should say in our prevalent teaching system. So through our effort, that is TAC, we try to fill this gap also. So such sessions would be very useful for the people who are preparing for various competitive exams, as well as for those who wish to shape the mental preparedness of a child for such exams in the times to come. And moreover, all the newspaper lovers would be benefited from such sessions. Today is 29th of July, and I have with me one article from The Hindu, and for particularly for English communication, I would recommend you that The Hindu and Indian Express, these are the two newspapers which are considered to be very good, at least in this language, English. So you may follow any of these two, or you may follow the both. So here at page number 6 of this newspaper, dated 29th of July, we have an article, RIC, a triangle that is still important. I would be trying to show you how one should read a newspaper. As per your priorities and as per your purposes, you design a methodology of doing a particular thing. So those who are preparing for civil services, their perspective would be, their focus would be getting information from this article. Those of you who are interested in international affairs, you would be taking up this. Though in UPSC we have full-fledged paper of international relations. So that is for the UPSC aspirants as well. In this newspaper, in this article, the writer is P.S. Raghuvan, a former diplomat, is a chairman of the National Security Advisory Board. And see, this is the benefit of reading the newspaper, that someone who is the chairman of the National Security Advisory Board must be a reputed post. So by paying a very minimal amount of say 5 rupees, we directly come to know the ideas of the experts of their respective fields. So this is the biggest gain that we can have from the newspaper by reading the newspaper. So in this article, the relationship, the international relations among countries like Russia, India, China, Brazil, and later on South Africa, that is the part of the BRICS. So we would come to know about their relations and how these things were formed. But from linguistic point of view, I would also be emphasizing that what we can learn from this article in terms of language. So RIC, a triangle that is still important, calls for a westward shift in India's foreign policy, appear misplaced as engagement with Russia and China does matter. So this is the point of view of the writer, that still it's relevant. Last month, while reading anything, you must practice close reading, mathematical reading. So these are the two tips, mathematical reading and close reading, which will change your reading skills fundamentally. Let's see how we can practice these two. Keep taking notes of the content and paying close attention to each and every single word of the text. Last month, on June 23rd, a few eyebrows were raised. See, such a wonderful expression. In the very beginning of this article, we see this, a few eyebrows were raised. So to raise your eyebrows, if you raise your eyebrows, it means you are surprised and you show your disapproval. So last month on June 23rd, a few eyebrows were raised when India decided to attend a virtual meeting of the foreign ministers of Russia, India and China, RIC. Amid the tensions on the line of actual control, the dominant calls were for a more decisive westward shift in India's foreign policy. Our RIC meeting seemed incongruous in this setting. The word incongruous is a good word that we can learn from this article, and incongruous means inappropriate, something that is not appropriate, that is not suitable for a particular thing or a particular particular context. So incongruous in this setting. So in the recent affairs of the world, such a meeting was considered as inappropriate, that was not pertinent, that was not suitable, that was not relevant at all by some people. As they raised their eyebrows, they were surprised because of the tension at LAC, that is line of actual control. The leaders' statement at the meeting reflected their divergent preoccupations. The Chinese minister did not see the irony in this call for opposing bullying practices, rejecting power politics and supporting the rule of law in international relations. The Chinese minister's stance. Then Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov criticized unilateral coercive measures. Coercive measures are the measures which are forceful measures. Coercive means using force or the threat of force. So coercive measures to settle scores with the geopolitical rivalry. We can also take a note of this word, geopolitical rivalry. Rivalry is a competition, and geopolitical, that is partly because of the geographical landscapes associated with its political contours. So geopolitical rivalry and topple resigns. India's external minister S. Jaishankar pointedly emphasized. See, this is the way we give depth to our idea, and this is the way we practice the sharpness, the precision in writing. And this precision, this sharpness is not only linguistic, but that is mental also, because language is something that gives reflection of our mental maturity. So this is the way we become deep in our understanding, and equally that depth of thought is expressed by equally deep language. It is not mentioned here that India's external affairs minister S. Jaishankar emphasized. It is written pointedly emphasized. So don't forget to take note of such expressions. Pointedly emphasized that for a durable world order, major powers should respect international laws and recognize the legitimate interest of partners. It is not about the interest of the partners. Again, it is about the legitimate interest of the partners. The initial years in the RIC dialogue commenced in early 2000s. COMMENCE, commence means to begin. And see, we have a variety of language learners. So maybe sometimes you find that this is a very normal word. Why sir is giving a word meaning for this? So with due respect, my excuses to the advanced learners. So the initial years when the RIC dialogue commenced in the early 2000s, the three countries were positioning themselves for a transition from a unipolar to multipolar world order. The world order that is from unipolar to multipolar, and these are the times of multi, be it multinational, be it multilingual, be it multicultural, or be it multinational companies, MNCs, multicultural, multilingual, multicultural. So we are living in the multi-age. So from unipolar, living in an age of multi, you cannot afford to be unilateral or unipolar. Therefore, the intention was to connect more to the world. So the countries decided to be multipolar. It was not an anti-US construct. All these countries considered their relationship with the United States an essential prop to their global ambitions. The RIC shared some non-West as distinct from anti-West. See, anti-West is something different and non-West is something different. So this is how we closely see the difference. Perspectives on the global order. Such an emphasis on sovereignty and territorial integrity, impatience with homilies on social policies, and oppositions to regime change from abroad. Their support for democratization of the global economic and financial architecture moved to the agenda of BRIC. So from RIC to BRIC. Initially it was Russia, India, China. Then Brazil was brought into the loop as a way of democratization, and later on even South Africa was added in 2011. So from RIC to BRIC and from BRIC to BRICS. So BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa is an international organization. It's an international body, and we can learn about BRICS. The beginners may learn about BRICS and the advanced learners may update their understanding, and they may take the recent happenings of BRICS. The initial years of the RIC dialogue considered with the upswing in India's relations with Russia and China. Upswing, the progress. The advent of President, advent means arrival, ADVENT. Advent means arrival. So the advent of President Vladimir Putin reinforced the political, defense and energy pillars of the India-Russia strategic partnership. With China, the 2003 decision to bring a political approach to the boundary dispute and to develop other cooperations encouraged a multi-sectoral surge in relations. An agreement in 2005 identifying political parameters, see a beautiful expression, political parameters, alliteration always lends attraction to language. to the boundary dispute to the develop other cooperations, encouraged multi-sectoral surge in relations as engagement in 2005, identifying political parameters applicable in an eventual border settlement, implicitly recognized India's interest in Arunachal Pradesh. Implicitly and explicitly. Explicitly is directly, openly, implicitly, indirectly. So we, by reading newspaper, we keep learning such expressions which ultimately enable us to use a variety of language. You write clearly, directly, explicitly. So by reading the newspaper for say 3 to 6 months, we have expressions for the same word, at least 5 to 6 expressions for the same word, and by practicing, by including those expressions in our writings, in our speaking, we become different, we become quite different, because we stop being repetitive. Repetition is not bad always. Even the sun rises in the east and it repeatedly rises in the east. That's a good thing. But in terms of language and all that, we should be having some sort of variety. So in order to master that variety, one must need to read consistently and committedly. Former US Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice writes about this in her memoirs. Transformations in the external environment impacted on these political equations. Among other irritants, China went back on the 2005 agreement, launched the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the corridor that is in progress, and that's a joint, to a large extent we can say that that's a joint venture of China and Pakistan. We can read about BRICS. The beginners may read about BRICS, they may read about CPEC. So the CPEC worked to undermine India's influence in its neighborhood and expanded its military and economic presence in the Indian Ocean. The texture of the relationship with Russia also changed as India-US collaboration widened in defense and the Indo-Pacific, as US-Russia relations bursted in 2014 after the accession of Crimea. Russia's pushback against the US included cultivating the Taliban in Afghanistan and enlisting Pakistan's support for it. The Western campaign to isolate Russia drove it into a much closer embrace of China, in the reach of China, particularly in the defense of cooperation, than their history of strategic rivalries would have permitted. Thus, the RIC claim of overlapping of similar approaches to key international issues sounds hollow today. Links in the grouping. So then there is a talk about the complete description about SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, wherein we are talking about the inclusion of countries like Afghanistan and Iran. So Silk Road and all that, you can read at your own, because that's very clear. Then we come to the Indo-Pacific issue. The elephant in RIC room is the Indo-Pacific. For India, it is a geographical space of economic and security importance, in which a cooperative order should prevent the dominance of any external power. China sees our Indo-Pacific initiatives as part of a US-led policy of containing China. Russia's foreign ministry sees the Indo-Pacific as an American ploy to draw India and Japan into military alliance against China and Russia. This is the perspective of the Chinese and the Russians about India-US relations and all that. That is up to them. We should also know this. India's focus on economic links with the Russia, Far East, and activation of a Chennai Vladivostok maritime corridor. One more corridor, that is Chennai Vladivostok maritime corridor. We can also search about it. See, I am not discussing this article entirely from the perspective of the UPSC aspirants, and at the same time I am also not discussing this newspaper as per the requirements of language learners. I am trying to combine the requirements of the both. So this is the approach. Basically, you can explore the articles in the similar fashion as per your preferences and your choices. Autonomy of action. The current India-China standoff has intensified calls for India to fast-track partnership with the US. This is an unexceptionable objective. It is not only objective, this is unexceptionable objective. But it is not a silver bullet. National security cannot be fully outsourced. India's quest for autonomy of action is based on geographical realities, historical legacies, and global ambitions. Ambitions are not only individual ambitions. Ambitions are global ambitions, institutional ambitions. So looking at these words, whatever expression you observe in any writing, try to use that in your own immediate context, because all of us are utilitarian. Once we think that our needs are fulfilled, then we can engage in any activity. So try to use the expression that you observe in any writing in your immediate context. As noted, RIC dynamics are sensitive to the configuration of the US-Russia-China triangle. This configuration changed in 2008, the global economic crisis, and again in 2014, Crimea's accession to Russia. That was a significant international activity. COVID-19 could trigger another change, which could be modulated by the outcome of the US presidential elections. The nature and impact of this change is for now an unknown. It is not only unknown, this is an unknown, something that is unknown and that is still unknown right now. But the writer is of the opinion that after American presidential elections, the narrative would unfold in a way that is uncertain. So this is for today's class for about particular this article. I hope you must have enjoyed it. Kindly do share your opinions, your comments in the comment box. If you have not subscribed it, kindly subscribe, tag, share it, so that you contribute in the noble cause of dissemination of knowledge and skills. Thank you.